Welcome to Linkronicity, where your journey and destiny link. I'm Stacey, Kumagai, your linkologist, and I'm here to help you link your life. Today we're going to be talking about the stubbornness link, and today's video comes to you courtesy of a question from Brandon M. of Kansas City, Missouri. Hey Brandon, thanks for writing in. Brandon writes, Dear Stacey, I want to know if it's possible to remove a stubbornness link. My dad is not doing very well. He's not in the best of health and is pretty stubborn about doing the things he needs to do. I love him and I don't want to lose him, but I want to know if I can overcome his stubbornness or if he can overcome it, and I don't know what to do. Can a stubbornness link be removed? I'm about to give up. I need your help. Thanks, Brandon. Brandon, so glad you wrote this question, and I'm so sorry for what you're going through with your dad right now. I know it's a difficult place. Believe me, I know. I've been there and I've lost both parents, so I know where you're sitting right now. And for those of you watching, if you're dealing with an aging parent, I know you're hitting this link, the stubbornness link. It's a big one. So let's talk about it, okay? First, Brandon, for you specifically, I want to address the fact that you stated that you love your dad and you don't want to lose him. And while I know you tell your dad that you love him probably, my question to you is this. Have you actually said those words in the context of his stubbornness? Dad, I love you, I don't want to lose you, and I know you're stubborn about XYZ, this list of things you need to do to get better. Have you brought it up in that context? Sometimes we need to know the reason why. And even though in his gut and his soul and his heart and his mind, he may know why, he may even take for granted why, sometimes if it's actually blatantly put out there as to why, I love you, I don't want to lose you, and this is why I want you to do these things to get healthy. Sometimes that helps. So try that first. If that doesn't work, I've got a plan C, B, C, and D to follow. Because I went through this myself. Okay, stubbornness link. Let's first take a seat back to where your dad is right now. Let's look inside your dad's head. And your dad is really facing a lot of things right now. He's facing his fear, mortality, having this overwhelming, daunting list of things that he has to do to get better, also dealing with old ways. I've always done things this way, my life has always been operating this way, and now he's dealing with the idea of change. We know change is really hard for a lot of people, so he's dealing with that. All at the same time, he's being preached at. Do this, do this, do this, do that. That's tough, and that's hard to navigate, and you won't overcome the stubbornness link by continuing to preach. It won't work. It won't work. It just doesn't work. So here's why it won't work. Brandon, what I want you to do is I want you to step into your time machine, and I want you to go back to the time when you were a teenager. And I want you to remember what it was like when your parents were telling you, do this, clean your room, get good grades, eat your vegetables, be home by this hour, don't stay out past curfew, don't hang out with the wrong crowd, blah, 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 blah. And to you it was, right? Right? Now you knew in your gut and your heart and your soul that your parents loved you, which is why they wanted you to be safe. They wanted you to be healthy. They wanted you to be a good student. They wanted you to do all of these things. But to you, all you heard was preachy, right? And your teenage self was looking at it as like, I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be told what to do. Even though you knew in your right mind, it was coming from a place of love. You didn't want to comply. Or it was difficulty for you to comply, or maybe you were stubborn. So imagine your dad sitting in this place now dealing with the idea of death knocking on his door, and dealing with the consequences if he doesn't do the list. He knows. He knows. He knows that if he doesn't do XYZ on the list of eating right, getting sleep, taking his medication, whatever it is he has to do to go to physical therapy to get healthy, he knows the circumstances and outcome are not going to be good if he doesn't comply. He knows that. You don't need to be telling him that, but you do need to be telling him from where you sit as to how you feel, and by saying, I love you, Dad, I don't want to lose you, I want more time with you. Don't you want more time together? Bringing it from that context of, this is why we want you to be healthy. Okay? That helps. Coming from that compassionate place helps. Instead of the preachy place, helps. Coming also from a place where he can understand what you're feeling helps him get out of his own head with all of his fears. Okay? Now here's the other thing. Very much like your parents helped you learn how to ride a bike or take your first step or learn whatever, at home. Whether it's finding the answers and solutions to problems or how to do your homework or how to set the table or how to do chores or whatever it is, life lessons. They did it with you. And because you actually got to see them in action doing something, it made learning a little bit easier. So for your dad, learning these new lifestyle habits are really big and daunting. What if you were to say, Dad, today we need to exercise. Dad, today we need to eat XYZ, healthy. Okay? Change your lifestyle with him. Do as much as you can with him. Now when it becomes a we instead of a you, it becomes easier for him to digest as something that he may want to do. Do you see where I'm coming from? May want to do, because he knows he's not on the journey alone. When you're given a diagnosis of anything, you think you're on this pathway alone. And it's hard for other people to come from a place of understanding if they haven't gone through it themselves, or for even to have the information received coming from a preachy place of, well, they don't know what they're going through, they're not the one diagnosed with this. And that's where he's coming from. So if you put yourself in a place of being on the journey with him, being on the pathway with him, all of a sudden now it's coming from a different place. Slowly you might get the stubbornness link tweaked just a little bit to where he's going to be a little more receptive, at least more open. And if by chance it's the worst case scenario where he's so stubborn he won't change and he's just going to stay with the blinders on, then at least you know from your heart and your soul and your spirit that you're showing up the best way that you can to be the best way that you can be helpful, okay, help him through this, and spending the most time that you can with him while he's still here on earth, even in a stubborn state. You're maximizing your time, and you won't regret that. Like, trust me, you won't regret that for a second, and it's no time wasted. So I hope that helps at least get you started on the pathway. Write me back, and I'll help you navigate this terrain a little bit better. And for those of you watching, if you're dealing with an aging parent or having other problems with your links, be sure to hit me up on social media. I'm Stacey Kumagai, your Linkologist, here to help you link your life. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Linkronicity, blogspot.com, and go to Linkronicity.com for private coaching sessions. I hope you have a wonderful day and have a little bit more ease of navigation with your stubbornness link.